Ron, I'd like you to tell your story about how, where you got to where you are, what kinds of things happened in your life to bring you to the point where you wanted to start working with people and...
So, my story began obviously way back when with birth and all of that, but it came from a family that was concerned about their health because of some health issues that my parents had, and they were always very, I would say, somewhat overwhelmed with making things happen. And so I grew up with, every time I had a problem, they tried this and they tried that, and so I was already in the mode of learning and growing. But because of certain events that happened in my own life, plus the genetics that I inherited, I had to deal with some struggles and challenges and figure them out. So head injuries as a child, foot injuries as a child and teenager, major illnesses because of it, pneumonia several times, chronic fatigue as a teenager. I didn't know it at the time, but I was stung, I was bit by ticks when I was young. I mean, I saw them, they were all over the other, and so, you know, eventual Lyme's diagnosis from an energy practitioner point of view, but still that, and of course the chronic fatigue, Epstein-Barr, a lot of different things happened. Earaches with tremendous amount of pain that they didn't know what to do with it. I had a broken nose that never was repaired, and I'm giving you a list of many, and I have more. I mean, several types of head injuries from a lot of crazy things that I did as a child. Besides all the emotional stuff that was going on. My mother was very ill on and off, so there was a lot of fear in the home. She almost died when I was nearly 8. And so, and several other things with my own father and his issues. So I had emotional challenges and physical challenges. Now, taking all of that, there were some events that, as I came to them, I made certain decisions. And those decisions determined my life in so many ways. And so one of the decisions was that no matter what, I was going to figure it out, meaning I needed to find an answer for me. I just couldn't take the pain anymore. Now, the pain accentuated my ability to sense. I could sense different parts of my body, and I had ability to sense things, but also it made the pain more difficult. And so, let me step back. So what did I just say? I made some decisions, and decisions as I wanted to figure it out. So by having that decision to figure things out, it set me on a path eventually of wanting to find answers to some of the problems that I was having. So I almost went the path of some chiropractic and some of those kind of things, which would have been fine. But I chose another path for a while, chose to be in business. I could have taught school because I got a degree in that, computer science and things like that. But what happened was in one of my businesses, my wife became very ill, and then I started having more illnesses again. And when she had her illnesses, I really had to branch out. I remember when we went to doctor after doctor after doctor not having solutions, and eventually at the university, they said, well, she needs to be on prednisone and some other things to take care of it. But I knew it was affecting the child, you know, either in utero or in nursing, because even they suggested that she did not nurse for a while when she was taking a lot of that stuff. It catapulted me into seeking answers, and so because of that, I sought answers from alternative sources. And so those included people that knew about the mind, those people that knew about the body, those people knew about nutrition, and those people knew about energy. And and some of the nutritional people helped us a little bit, and I did, you know, acupuncture with her, but the mind actually was probably the most important one of all of them. How to think, how to feel, how to understand. So I studied the belief systems of people and myself, and so from there I started studying the body and how it functioned and how energy worked. I had a lot of background in nutrition growing up, and I added that in. So mostly it went from the mind to the body to the energy and then nutrition. Now, why is that important, I think? Because there are a lot of people that study nutrition and they just say, well, you need to take this or you need to take that. And that's fine. I mean, if you have a problem, then you could. I had a huge problem with ulcers, and it ached my belly. And when they went in and did scopes, they couldn't hardly find anything down there, but yet I had tremendous pain, which was highly confusing to me. And so it was one of those where there are layers inside our abdomen. And we have 6 or 7 layers that we're talking about. And you can have immune function in one layer and your pathogens in another. And so even if one layer is not showing a problem, it might show up in another. So in today's world, now it's advanced in the past 40 years quite a bit, they can actually film and go in and see what type of pathogen is there for colitis or irritable bowel or other things. But at the time, they just said, well, take this medication and you'll be fine. Well, yeah, for a while, but I started to have reactions to the medication, so I couldn't take it. And so I needed to know, I needed to understand it. And so just taking a pill is okay, but you want to understand there's more to it. There's a bigger spectrum. There's reasons why for emotionally or mentally, physically, nutritionally, spiritually. I wanted to understand that, so I started studying under people that I could look at the bigger reasons, and it made sense to me, and I understood it, and they brought in generational type understanding, like your ancestors and how they affected us and our genes. And so I started understanding the mental side, the emotional side, and the spiritual side. And then on the energy side, I eventually studied under people who learned energy kinesiology. You know, back when Touch for Health started, that was fabulous, and all those people. And then they taught others, and I learned from some people that knew that and then added to the work. And then eventually, of course, I've added it myself. That energy part was fabulous, because now I understood a lot about the mind. I understood a lot about how to work through the emotions, but I needed that energy piece because up to 90% is in our body and unconscious, and you need to know about the energy and how to help it flow, to help it finalize. Because if I just take my mind and, okay, this is the way it should be, and then our emotions, this is the way you should feel, but if the body's not in alignment with that, sometimes it doesn't work. So I brought in the energy work, and I brought in the emotional work and mental work, brought it all together in alignment, and with that, it just blossomed. I had more energy, more vitality, my children were healthier, my wife became healthier. We had a better relationship. I had a better relationship with other people. I started manifesting more things in my life that I wanted to create. And so now it's even more fun because more information and discoveries happen every single day. And I love making a difference in people's lives, which is dessert, actually, for all of what I've been through.